Welcome to another episode of the All Tens Podcast. I'm your co-host, Josh West, here as always with Clay Harris. And Clay, today we're moving forward into our series on the Vision Traction Organizer. And in this episode, we flip over from the vision side to the traction side, and we're discussing what is your 1 year plan. Clay, when you're working with teams on developing their 1 year plan, what do you see?
Oh, well, so just imagine when you're in the room with a team putting together the VTO for the first time. I feel like this is where, like in the 3 year picture, we've kind of started turning the cogs, right? But in the 1 year plan, it's when I start to see like the juices flow, right? Like it actually kind of starts to come into like reality. Now it's graspable, obtainable, whatever the right word is, pick your word, but it's there, and you can really feel it, right? And so anyway, so 1 year plan is really similar to the 3 year picture that we just talked about in our previous episode, because we're starting in the same place, which is let's put some numbers on it, right? What's our revenue going to be this year? What's our profit going to be? What are the other measurables that we started talking about in the 3 year picture? Let's talk about what they're going to look like in a year from now. And so we start there, just like the 3 year picture, put some numbers on it, right? Then instead of 3 year pictures a little bit zoomed out, a little fuzzy, when we get to the 1 year plan, we want to bring this home with real focus and force. So we say, what are your top 3 to 7 priorities for the coming year? We're going to call those goals, but what are they? 3 to 7, not 27. Not 3 to 7. We're not here to sandbag, and we're not here to say we're going to do everything. What are the 3 to 7 that are the most important things that we're going to accomplish in the next year? They're going to push us towards that 3 year picture, push us towards our 10-year core target, right? And when I'm working with companies, I say, we're doing 3. This is our first time around the merry-go-round. We're doing 3 because we're going to nail it, right? And so, yeah, I mean, that's the 1 year plan. Dig in a little bit.
And you mentioned something there that I think is poignant, in that the 3 year picture, it can be a little fuzzy, and that's good. Remember, that's on the vision side, and I see that 3 year picture as the transition point from vision to traction. And when we talk about the bullet points there, they are not goals. They're not rocks. We do not make sure that they are written smart, right? This is just the visualization exercise. This is just what it looks like. And I really drive home the point contextually when we move to the 1 year plan with the team, as I say, it was the 3 year picture, the 1 year plan, right? And really playing into the semantics of those words and saying, that was a visualization exercise. We're closing our eyes. That's what it looks like and where we're headed. Now we really do have to write these goals smart. Do we know exactly what done looks like? Can we measure it? And is this year the right year to do those things? What are the most important things related to that long-term core target and that 3 year picture? But make no mistake, this is where the rubber really starts to meet the road. And we're always going to come back quarter over quarter and evaluate it. So it is also a very important foundation for us to set, so that we're setting great rocks along the way to accomplish those things. And then the real trick is, are we pushing ourselves enough on those particular goals that we write that aren't just rocks, and that really are something that is large and needs to be accomplished over the course of the year? And so it really is sort of like that mental and emotional shift that needs to happen pretty quickly between the 3 year picture and the 1 year plan, and to really distinguish those differences.
Yeah, for sure. The thing that I think you mentioned, it's kind of like you're kind of shifting the brain, right? From like, let's do like big conceptual stuff, 3 year, core values, core focus, core target, marketing strategy, 3 year picture. Those are all the things we've been building. And then it's like, oh shit, now we got to get stuff done, right? You're really flexing to kind of call back to previous episodes, some of those leadership abilities, right? And one of them is simplify. When we say 3 to 7 goals for the year, like, we got to really focus on what's important, and we got to keep it simple, right? We can't boil the ocean. We got to do the things that matter the most in the thing that goes along with that, especially when we're doing these 1 year goals, is prediction muscle, right? Not just predicting what the numbers are going to look like for the year, but also I talk a lot about when you're setting these 1 year goals, you're using that prediction muscle to set the right priorities in terms of what the most important things are to get done. Yeah, you got to make them smart, but you just have to use all the tools in the toolbox, your brain, your heart, your gut, to understand what are the 3 things that we have to do this year, because there's countless number of important things to do at any given time in the business, but you got to be really good at identifying those 3 to 7 that are really going to push the company forward, as you already said. So I'm just saying what you said, but in different words. 100% agree.
Yeah, I think it's also important that certainly everything that we've talked about in the prior episodes about the VTO and everything that's on that vision side, these goals this is the first time that we're setting something that we're going to come back to at the annual in a very cold binary sense, say, is it done or not done? You know, did we accomplish this goal as we defined it and as we set out to do? And so also, it's I'll harken back to that 3 year picture where we're like, well, it probably looks like this. It's a bigger office or another warehouse where we've got more people, but now it's really specific and measurable. And is this what we're doing? And is this going to transform the business? So I find that's as you mentioned, this is where the juices really get flowing, and we've kind of left some of those, you know, as you said, fluffier things behind a bit.
Yeah, and
And
there's an accountability that is obviously there when we're talking about these things. There's also, and this is maybe a little bit more nuanced, but when you're setting goals for the year for the company and you're establishing the priorities for the company, it's not just that we want to hold ourselves accountable as a leadership team. 100%, we must hold ourselves accountable and do a good job of setting the right goals in the right year. The other thing we're doing is that we're telling the rest of the company what's important and what we're focused on. And I can't urge leadership teams enough to make sure that when they're setting these goals, they are considering the message that they're sending to the rest of the company about what they say is important, because EOS is an alignment tool, right? It's to get us all organized and aligned around the same goals. And we got to start with a leadership team. But when I'm setting these goals, I'm also thinking about compelling, urging, enrolling the rest of the company and being like gung-ho about getting these things done, right? That's why the other parts of the VTO are so important. But here is where it starts to make sense. It's hard for team members to think 3 years out, 10 years out. You try to paint a picture for them a little bit, but man, when you put 1 year goals that they can hold on to and see, it shit better be compelling, better be meaningful. Anyway, so yeah.
I mean, I think that's a good segue for us to end the episode. And you got real close, and that's my nugget. My prompt for the team is when we set those goals, then I say, if we're sitting here on that future date and all of these goals are accomplished, is that going to make for a great year? Not good, not okay, great. And I know that we've gotten there when you see everyone's eyes light up and you get a hell yeah, like that's going to be a great year. And if I don't get that from the team, then I just kind of let it sit there and say, okay, well, if this is not great, then why wouldn't it be? And let's continue to work and let's revisit this right now and let's make sure that we get there, because that's when you've really set great goals for the year. How about you, Clark?
I don't have a nugget, man. That was good. You just Tony the Tigers the 1 year plan. That's good. They're great. That's good.
Got to.
Good job. Well, that's our episode, everybody. Thanks for listening. This is our 6th kind of episode in this little series we're doing on the VTO. We got 2 more coming up. We hope you'll listen to those as well. As always, please like, share, rate, whatever you do on a podcast these days. We'd love to hear your feedback. If there's anything you want us to talk about our issues list is open and ready for your feedback. So thanks for listening. I'm Clay. He's Josh. We'll catch you next time on the All Tunes Podcast. Bye.
Bye, Clay.